I will introduce you to the people who are here. This is Father Spiridon's daughter.
Hi.
This is Sophia. Can you say hi? Salimi, eh? Malimo.
Hi.
And then this is the priest's wife, Katarina.
Hi.
Catherine.
Thank you for being here.
And their son, Simeone.
Hey. Hey, here, I'll introduce you to who we have here, and hopefully you can see. I'm having. This is our class. We have two classes of students here today. We have my homeroom kids and Mrs. Judge's homeroom kids. We have about 30 fifth graders. What we'll do is we have a lot of kids here, and we just got done with our unit on Africa. Today's the actually the last day of the African unit, and so talk about a wonderful way to have a finale, is to be able to chat with you today. We also have Eric and Julie from the advancement office. Of doing some stuff for like alumni publications and stuff. So if you see them in the back, so that's kind of a full house of friends here today. We're also putting. Part of this is going to be used for the 8th graders Wildcat Morning News. So we have a lot of fun stuff going on, and thank you for giving up your time and energy and efforts to be with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and yeah, like you said, the timing is perfect. That you just finished up your unit, and I'm here so I can talk about it and tell you about my firsthand experiences.
So what's going on in Tanzania right now? How are you guys doing?
We're doing really well. It is it may not look like it out the window, but it's the start of the rainy season. We actually had a few days of rain this past week, and they say that it usually goes from March until May, and then I think it goes into a really hot and dry season after that, but I don't really know all the seasons yet. Do you want me to tell a little bit about myself in the beginning, or did you...
That sounds perfect. If you want to tell a little bit about what about yourself and what you're doing and that sort of thing, that would be great.
I graduated in '93, and then I went to undergraduate in St. Louis. I went to Washington University, and then I took a few years off trying to work a few different jobs. Decided to go back to graduate school in 2000, and I went to Boston University. Finished up there, and then kind of looked around some more. Decided I might want to consider doing long-term mission work, and that's how I ended up in Tanzania. I was actually here a couple of years ago, excuse me, for 2 months, and I loved it so much that I wanted to come back and spend at least a couple of years.
So, so maybe you can tell the kids a little bit about what type of, when you're doing mission work, what sort of things, I know there's a spiritual component, other sorts of things you do for people in the village and the area.
Well, the typical day for us is we get up and we go to church, and then right now we're still getting prepared to actually do most of our work. We're learning the language. The main spoken language here is Swahili, or what they call Kiswahili here. I don't know if you spoke about the languages in Africa and the diversity, but there are 130 tribes in Tanzania alone. Each tribe has its own language, and then in addition to those languages, everyone speaks Swahili. So Swahili is the common language, but it's not necessarily everyone's first language. The people who live in this area of Tanzania, which I think you saw the map yesterday. It's up the northwest corner of the country. The group of people here are called the Haya, and they speak their own language called Kihaya. But pretty much everyone can speak and understand Kiswahili, except for me, but I'm learning.
Excellent. Actually, that was a question on the test that we just had, was does everyone in Africa speak one language? And I think every single person in this room got the question right, too. Perhaps, I know we have several kids that have questions and such. So let's have Sam. Why don't you start? Do you see Sam okay?
Yeah, hey, Sam.
Hi. What foods do you eat there?
The food here, it's the basic staples. We eat a lot of rice and beans. You get that at pretty much every meal. We also eat a lot of fresh vegetables. The priest's wife here and the priest, actually have a big garden behind their house, and they grow a lot of their own vegetables. They have leafy greens, they have spinach, they also grow corn, mahindi. Yeah, mahindi. And then we also eat things like these. They have carrots, a lot of the stuff that we get back in the States. And then as far as meat goes, they have a lot of chicken, a lot of beef, and they actually have goat meat, which is pretty good. I've had it a few times. Beyond that, well, they also have fish. There are a lot of fishermen here living in the area, and they catch a lot of their fish from Lake Victoria. Most of the fish is either, it's called tilapia or Nile perch. I don't know if you've heard of that. And it's really good. It's really good when it's roasted. And when they give you the fish, they serve you the whole fish, and you just kind of pick off the meat. That's how you eat it here. You know, a lot of people back in the States, and even when I was growing up, I thought this too. I used to think that people here in Africa would eat animals like elephants and zebras and things like that, but they really don't, because there are not really a lot of animals around here. They're pretty much limited to the national parks, like the Serengeti National Park. And also meat's really expensive, so a lot of people don't eat meat on a daily basis. If they have enough money, they'll buy meat, but it'll just be meat like beef and chicken and goat.
And speaking of, speaking of the animals, another question we had on our test was animals like elephants and rhinos and zebras roam all over the place in Africa. Yeah, you're not going to find animals like that in cities.
And actually here in Bukoba, there are some free-range monkeys. They're called vervet monkeys, which I've seen on a few of my walks. But beyond that, there really aren't too many wild animals. There is a national park about 2 hours south of us, and I guess they have more animals there, like hippos and crocodiles. But that's also a reserve, so it's not like they're living in a city anywhere.
Okay, Madeline here, yeah. If you can.
Yeah, that's
Are there poaching laws in Africa or Tanzania? Are there like laws against poaching animals?
Yeah, there are. And unfortunately, that doesn't mean that everyone abides by them, but I think Africa overall is, excuse me, they've come a long way in protecting a lot of these animals. There are some animals like the mountain gorilla. I don't know if you saw the picture of that yesterday, but I went to Uganda right at the end of last year, and on New Year's Eve I went up this mountain in Uganda to see these mountain gorillas up close. And unfortunately, there are not too many of those left because they've been hunted, and they've been getting caught in traps. But the good thing is that the government is stepping up, and they're making these laws to protect the gorillas and other animals. So a lot of animals that were on the brink of extinction are now coming back.
Just to let you know, fifth graders, poaching, because that might be a new word. Poaching means illegal hunting. So it'd be kind of like if you hunted deer out of season here. But the trouble is, some of these animals, unlike the deer here, some of these animals in Africa are endangered. Stuff like the black rhinoceros and things like that. Taylor, here you can go and ask my question. Here comes Taylor. Be nice and loud.
Hey, Taylor.
Hi,
Hey.
have you met the pinching man?
The Maasai pinching man.
The pinching man. I've not met him yet, and I'm trying to stay away from him if possible. But yeah, actually, I didn't know what the pinching man was until yesterday. Mr. Piper told me.
My name is Yusuf.
Hey, Yusuf.
I just want to know, do many people like to play soccer here, and how do they make their soccer balls?
A lot of people here do play soccer and watch soccer on TV. As far as how they make the balls, I think a lot of them are donated or people buy them from somewhere. But I've been to some villages where the kids will actually make their own balls by wadding up plastic bags, like garbage bags, and then tying them up with banana leaves, and then wrapping the banana leaves with a piece of twine, and then they just kick that around.
Do you find the American foods and hot dogs and stuff like that in supermarkets, or if they have supermarkets or grocery stores or places like that in Tanzania?
When I first arrived in Tanzania, I stayed in a place called Dar es Salaam, which is the biggest city in Tanzania. It's like the New York City of Tanzania. And even there, I didn't find a lot in the way of Western food franchises. There were no McDonald's. nothing like that. There was a subway, but it was very different from the subways back in the States. But, you know, as they say, any port in the storm, so I enjoyed having a sub. Here in Bukoba, there really isn't too much in the way of McDonald's or anything like that, or even American food. In a way, that's probably good for me because I'd probably be stuffing my face with it. And there are some places, though, some markets that do sell food that's more catered to Westerners like Americans and Europeans. There's this place that we go to buy our groceries. They sell Pringles, which was a godsend for me because I love Pringles. But beyond that, it's just a lot of the local food that people make here. That's mostly it.
Hi, I'm Haley. I was just wondering, what's your favorite thing that you do in Tanzania?
It's hard to say because there's so many different things to do here, but I think definitely going to the Serengeti. That was pretty amazing to see all of those animals in their natural habitat. I think otherwise, just getting out and getting to meet different people who I probably would not have met otherwise, and learning about their cultural viewpoints, and just comparing notes. And actually, it's, you know, you think of Africans as being very different from Americans, and they are in some respects, but not really. You know, I enjoy learning about different cultures and meeting new people.
Hi, I'm Justin.
Hey, Justin.
I was wondering if you met any Maasai warriors, and if you have, what are they like?
I actually have, and it's interesting because the Maasai aren't actually from here in Bukoba. They're from the other side of the country, so across Lake Victoria. And what happened was they lost a lot of their land, so a lot of the warriors had to move around Tanzania and even Kenya to work to make money to send back to their families. There are several here in Bukoba. I've met probably a few dozen that live here. They're wonderful. I've really enjoyed getting to know them.
Would it be possible to hear maybe the family speak something in Swahili? Say hello in Swahili.
Okay. Okay. Wanahitaji kusikia Kiswahili. So sema. Okay.
Habari za huko?
So that's basically saying, how are you? Habari za huko?
Sisi Tanzania tunawasalimia.
We here in Tanzania greet you.
Tunawasalimia furaha na amani.
And we greet you by saying, it's the local church greeting here. It's furaha na amani, which means joy and peace. So that's Kiswahili. It's the root of the language is Bantu. I don't know if you spoke about Bantu, but it's the root of many languages in the southern part of Africa. And the thing that's interesting about Kiswahili is that it has a lot of influence from Arabic, Portuguese, Hindi, and I think even English. The word for picture in Kiswahili is picha, just to give you an example.
I guess one thing that we talked about a little bit on our test was homes in Africa. And we saw the pictures of the homes you sent us and your home, which looked similar to homes here. But then we also saw the pictures of the huts. Can you talk a little bit about, do most people in where you live, do they live in homes, do they live in huts, do you have a combination?
Most people here in the city live in homes, although the home that I'm living in is an exception to the rule. A lot of the homes are smaller, but I mean, they're like homes that you'd find in the U.S. When you get further out into the countryside, you will see more huts or smaller homes. And it was interesting, when I went to the Serengeti about a month ago, we drove pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and I was looking out the window and I saw these small villages, and they were huts, but the huts were built out of cinder blocks, and then they had corrugated roof on top and like in a cylinder or a cone shape, which I found really interesting because they're just modernizing the housing style that they've used for centuries.